Hello everyone, guys! You just can't imagine what happened today. One subscriber wrote to me and sent me a video that literally gave me goosebumps. I do not know if this is true or a montage, but if it is real, then Melon Playground has officially found the scariest event in the history of the game. Please watch this video to the end, because what you're about to see may completely change our understanding of all the secrets of Update 30.5. I'm not exaggerating, every second of this video is important, and at the end I'll show you something that maybe the developer didn't want us to see at all. So, look carefully. The recording shows that the player logs into the game at exactly 3 AM. The usual main menu, nothing special, but literally after a few seconds, something happens that no one expected. The usual orange pumpkin, which always stands in the background of the menu, suddenly changes and becomes scary, with empty black eyes and a crooked grin. And that's when everything starts to go wrong. To be honest, I've watched this frame dozens of times and still don't understand if it's a coincidence or a hidden trigger. Maybe the game really reacts to the time of the system, and it is at 3 o'clock in the morning that something is activated. And guys, I advise you and do not rewind. Watch to the end, because then the most incomprehensible begins. Immediately after the pumpkin changes, the screen suddenly goes off. No labels, no sounds, just a black screen. And then, suddenly, he is transported to a completely different map, to the Halloween one, to the dark forest. At first I thought he just changed the location manually, but no, the transition happens automatically, without pressing, without a menu. This means that the game did it all by itself. And that's when I realized that if this wasn't a montage, then we were just touching the very beginning of something huge. And that's where the strangest part begins, guys. Because the longer I reviewed this moment, the more details I began to notice. First, please note that the pumpkin thrower falls not just in a random place, but exactly in front of the character, on a perfectly aligned line between him and Little Pumpkin. It's like it's not an accident, but some kind of pre-prescribed trigger. If it had been a montage, the player would hardly have been able to synchronize the movements so perfectly. Now imagine, perhaps this is really an in-game event that only triggers at a certain time, only under certain conditions. And guys, right now I'm going to tell you everything that I've managed to piece together, but most importantly, don't rewind, because the finale will explain absolutely everything, and I'm pretty sure you're not expecting it. So, let's start with the most obvious one, the sign "Look for the boss." This is not just a random phrase. I checked the font, I checked the shadow, and even the transparency of the text. It completely matches the system messages in Melon Playground. This means that, most likely, it was not added by the player himself, but it is really embedded in the game itself. But here's the mystery: if no one except this subscriber, she never appeared again. And according to the video, it all happened at 3 AM. Maybe it's a secret Halloween timer that only activates at a specific time of day, like Easter eggs in other games? Or maybe it's because the player's old Halloween data was activated on his account. I'm not sure exactly, but the more I think about it, the more it feels like we're on the verge of something really huge. Now let's talk about Little Pumpkin. She didn't just walk up to the character, she made a slight movement, as if she jumped slightly, and then stopped. And if you look closely, her eyes light up a little brighter for a split second. Many people might not have noticed, but I checked frame by frame. The brightness is really changing. And perhaps it is at this moment that the trigger is activated, which causes the pumpkin thrower to fall. So it turns out that Little Pumpkin is not just an NPC, but a kind of intermediary between the player and the hidden Halloween mechanics. And if this is true, then we have the first real clue to activate the Halloween event. But here's the most intriguing thing: why is there a sign saying "Look for the boss" at all? Where is this boss, and who is he? If it was just a visual fake, it would be logical to limit ourselves to animation and weapons. But there's a hint of a sequel that we haven't seen yet. Maybe this boss is related to the very files of Pumpkin Boss and Pumpkin Boss 2 that we have already found in previous leaks. I reviewed the old plums, and there were indeed 2 different icons, one with a regular pumpkin, the second with a metal one. This may mean that the first boss is an ordinary Halloween pumpkin, and the second is its mechanical version, possibly the real final opponent. And now the main question is, why did the player stop recording at this particular moment? The screen goes off, the label appears, and that's it. It was as if he had deliberately cut short the most interesting part. I tried to contact him, but he only wrote one thing: "I'll tell you when there are 1,000 comments under the video." And guys, I know it sounds like a bite, But if you think about it logically, why would he record, mount, or change the interface at all if it really didn't happen? Because the recording shows that Pumpkin Thrower is not a texture, not an insert. It moves, reflects light, and fully reacts to the environment. And it's impossible to fake it without access to the game engine. Therefore, I am more and more inclined to believe that this is not just a fake. Perhaps this is really a hidden Halloween event that is activated only by a few players. And if this player really found a way to summon him, then maybe Pumpkin Thrower can be obtained right now, in version 30.5. But he just doesn't want to reveal exactly how to do it. And I think he's watching us, watching how actively we're looking for an answer. So, guys, if you want him to tell you how to get this weapon, just fill up the comments. Let there be 1,000 messages under this video. Let him understand that the players are really interested. But most importantly, don't turn off the video right now. Because next, I'll show you a few small details that might have gone unnoticed, and they can be a real clue. Perhaps you will notice something that no one else has seen. And if so, you will be the one who will be the first to discover the Halloween mystery of Melon Playground. So just stay until the very end. Don't switch, don't rewind because the ending of this video can really change everything. And so, guys, when I watched this video for probably the 20th time, I began to realize that everything we see is not just a random scene. No, it looks like a well-hidden system that no one even knew about. After all, think for yourself why in Update 30.5, where there are no official Halloween items, the Pumpkin Thrower, Little Pumpkin, and to whole bosses models were added to the files. Why do these objects exist but are not being used? Maybe all this is part of one big Halloween event, which is activated in stages, and the first player to have it happen just accidentally triggered the right trigger. But if that's the case, then it turns out that the game already has an inactive Halloween mode that's just waiting for the right moment. And now the question is, what exactly is needed to launch it? Let's try to reason. In the player's video, the recording time is 3:02 AM. It's at this point that the strangest thing happens. The screen goes blank, and then the message "Look for the boss" appears. Maybe it's not a coincidence. Maybe time really does play a role. Perhaps the Halloween mechanics only work during a certain period, like in old horror games where events only take place at night. And if that's the case, then maybe all we need to do is just launch the game at exactly 3 o'clock, and not at any other time. But there is another version. Remember how in some games hidden events are activated after certain actions are performed to collect items, complete achievements, touch something specific. Maybe you should bring 5 pumpkins, put them next to the nano-assembler, and just wait. After all, the inscription "Look for the boss" may be a system that starts only after performing this ritual. And guys, I know it sounds like a theory right now, but remember, that's exactly how we once discussed Endless Ocean. And then, too, no one believed it until the real footage appeared. And now we see Pumpkin Thrower right in action. Isn't this proof that there really is more hidden in the files than we're being shown? And the more I look into it, the more I'm convinced that maybe version 30.5 already has a whole Halloween mode hidden. It just hasn't been activated globally yet. Maybe the developer wants the community to wake him up. And if that's true, then it's up to us. But what doesn't let me go is the player's phrase "I'll tell you when there are 1,000 comments under the video." At first glance, it sounds like a simple clickbait. But if you think about it, maybe it's not just words. Maybe it's part of the challenge. Maybe the developer has specially implemented an Easter egg in the game, which will work only when the community shows interest. It sounds crazy, but Melon Playground is always based on the interaction between players. And who knows, maybe this guy is really connected to the test build or just accidentally activated something that was supposed to appear in the next patch. So I'm sure of one thing right now, in version 30.5, Halloween is already here, it's just hidden for now. And if you're watching this video, you might be one of the first to get to the bottom of it. All you need to do is just act together. Write in the comments what you think about this situation. Maybe you have a theory on how to activate Halloween mode. Or maybe you've also seen the pumpkin change on the menu. Every message can be important. And if there really are 1,000 comments under this video, I will try to contact this player again and persuade him to show the continuation of the recording. But most importantly, guys, if you've watched up to this point, don't switch. Because maybe at the end of this video, I will insert one fragment that no one has seen yet. Maybe it will be a clue, maybe an Easter egg, or maybe the very proof that Pumpkin Boss really exists. Don't leave, because now everything is just beginning. Melon Playground's Halloween Madness is officially launched. It's just not for everyone yet. And only the most attentive viewers, those who watch to the end, will be the first to understand how it all relates. After all, sometimes the truth is hidden not in the files, but right in front of your eyes.